boom.
Biddle it, biddle it, biddle it, but yes, yes, yo, party people, your dreams have now been fulfilled. You know what time it is. Get that badger on and over here. There ain't nobody down round here. We had to move in to get his greatness in and on and over. Quick shit, you know how it is. Nobody do it how he does it. Quick shout out to Bob Hope, who I'll be seeing you tomorrow for the big game against Coventry. Shout out to Bob Hope. Looking forward to it, brother. Clock watchers are in. The boom stays. Hit the link below for my single. Max Wobber. So there's been some talk about Max Wobber. Sick note 2.0 because he's now injured and looks like he might need surgery. What a signing he has been, my friend. The Terminator, due to the fact that he's made of metal and, you know, it can't hardly turn around. But apparently we could have cashed in for him. Wolves were interested at the end of the summer transfer window. It blows my mind to some extent. I honestly can't believe, you know, I honestly don't think he's even the best centre-back. Well, I know he's not the best centre-back at the club, but that's what sparks the interest from, like, Wolves and stuff. I just think, I know he went off to Bundesliga and stunk that place out and then came back and nobody wanted him, but apparently Wolves just wouldn't meet our demands, so I don't know how much we wanted for him or whether we were just sort of holding out. As much of a bad signing as he has been, I don't mind him being in and around the club, providing he's not a, you know, total dick slap. You know, kicking up a stink and making dressing room a horrible place to be. But, you know, you do want him as a backup. It's not bad, is it, really? In reality, we'd have had to gone out and find someone. We lost quite a few centre-backs last year, i.e. Cresswell and Cooper and stuff. Obviously, people don't like Cooper, but, you know, where do we go from there? So we would have had to sign someone. But, yeah, I can't believe, you know, like Rodon went back to Tottenham. Rodon's better than Max Wobber, Wibbling Wobber, in my humble opinion. I know Rodon's got off to a bit of a sticky start, but we're not conceding goals, to be fair, with him and Struick at the back. There is some talk that Struick, I mean, Fucker did his interview yesterday and he was saying that, you know, unless he's trained today, he won't be available. So really, there's a lot of injury worries actually at the moment. So we've got Manor Solomon. He was out last week, obviously, but he's still out. That was a back injury. And now it's apparently developed into his hamstring, which is the problem with him, isn't it? We knew this about Solomon when he came. In truth, if he wasn't injury prone, he wouldn't be at the club at all on loan or signed, or, you know, he would be playing either for Tottenham or a relatively top side. You know, he's definitely of that quality, isn't he? So we knew that it'd be a problem. It's just when sort of like, I know what it's like when you've got a bad back and then you start, you know, you're whimpering over it a bit and then hammy goes and then thigh goes and then you can't walk and then it's back to back and then it's your upper back and you crick your neck. So I do understand how it manoeuvres around your body, but that is, as a professional athlete, really worrying, isn't it, you know, for him long term. We were sort of hoping, or I was hoping if he could just get 8-10 games under your belt, I really think that makes a massive difference. It's same for Bamford. Ooh, don't shoot me, but when he goes on a run, he normally stays on the run, quite literally. But, you know, when you're injury prone and you can't get 8-10 games under your belt, and obviously, I mean, 8 games of physical, you know, not just eking your way through games. That's why they bring him off at bench initially and try to give him 10 minutes, 15 minutes, get the body up to some sort of an impact level. I can't believe, to some extent, that they're just not training right. To some extent, and I don't mean that, but like in terms of, you know, apparently Bamford's picked up a knock in training, so fair enough, but they can't be good. If you're coming on the pitch and then going into a tackle, it must be slightly psychological as well at that point where everything's hurting or you're not actually fully committed to a tackle, or it's not always in tackles, I understand that, but niggles and stuff. I remember Klopp saying, boom! I remember him saying about Sturridge that, you know, there is a level of pain that you have to play through. And I'm not suggesting that with Solomon or Bamford, to be perfectly honest. I think Bamford would do everything to sort of get back on the pitch, but I know that'll kick up an absolute stir amongst you all. But yeah, you get my point. James is still out, but we knew that anyway, so he'll be out till after the international break in a couple of weeks, or possibly the game before, depending, you know, but that'd be a positive if he were back. And then Firpo and Bamford are a risk tomorrow, so they've missed a bit of training this week, which is, you know, a bit mental, really. That's a lot of players now, isn't it? Sort of sidelined. Solomon will be replaced as normal by Radrizzani, Radarisko. That little rascal scored a belting goal at weekend, so I'm not too fussed about that due to the fact we saw Rads last week and he definitely looks of the quality that we require. I think wingers are much of a muchness, in my humble opinion, at this level. I think they're all decent on ball, and I think they're probably all failed strikers from, the top elite sides that, have ended up getting pushed wide the further that they've gone. And I don't think there's anywhere near as much pressure on them. So, like if Aronson doesn't score, if Gnonto doesn't score, if Rads doesn't score, if Solomon doesn't score, or if James doesn't score, they don't get come for. Like Joseph's getting come for at the moment. I think it's a little bit early for him. I think that's a little bit harsh. I mean, in terms of early, I don't think it's too early in his career to be playing for us, but I think it's a little bit harsh. And Farke even had to mention it in the press conference, that, it's not just about scoring goals and stuff, but that is, when he's saying that is amounting to a little bit of pressure on him. So I'm hoping Joseph can get off at mark, really, because ultimately, we've got no backup. I know people calling for Peru, which is a bit mad. I think he should still be just a 10-minute, 15-minute super sub when we're in need of a goal. I think we've been there with the amount we start him. But, people say put him up top, number 9, and sort of work round him a little bit. As long as he just stood up top, could we get away with the press using Aronson, Rads and Gnonto? But yeah. So Firpo out, you'd think that Schmitz is going to come in, or if he's still not keen on bringing him in so early into his Leeds career, then Sam Byram. Struick's a tricky one if he's not in. We need to pray for him to be in, really, because, I don't know where he goes from there. He either brings in, that young lad, or I forget his name now, I feel terrible, but I forgot that lad's name, or he brings Ampadu back from central role and then puts Tanaka in. But at that point, he's moving a lot around, isn't he, at that point? So I'm not sure he'll want to do that due to the fact he's really sort of changing the look of the side there. And if he knows Struick's only out for a week, say, or he's close to being even starting, he might be on the bench on Saturday, for instance. If he's close, I don't think he'll want to change it too dramatically. So he'll go to... Yeah, I can't remember what that dude's called. Madness. Djebo, whatever he's called. Djebo, whatever he's called. That young lad that played left-back for a game in pre-season. So he might go with him. As I say, I would... To be honest, to get out of the Championship, everybody's going on about this Tanaka like he's the best player in the world. So if you're going to bring him in anyway, I'd probably go him and Gruev, let Gruev sit. Ampadu at back with Rodon, that was solid as a rock last season. I'd probably go with that long term. I forgot to mention I've got my Dumbo Cup and I'm sticking with Tetley's. 120 tea bags I got for $3.50 or something. And Tetley's gets a hard rep, much like my man Bamford, but all round great tasting. Yeah, Bamford and James and Wobber, not really much of an issue due to the fact that they've not been featuring. It just makes their bench weaker, doesn't it? So 3 p.m. tomorrow at Coventry. It's a tough test. It's good to get going, though. I'm excited about it. People are talking about Willie Gnonto, the fact that he signed a contract because he's confident that we will be going up next season and we'll be a Premier League side. I think he's signed it for the reasons I highlighted a while back of, the why pretty much every player signs contracts at the start of a season. It's just it cements their position at the club. The club are stronger in the transfer market so that if somebody comes in, they don't end up with getting stung. Or, for instance, Gnonto wants a release clause for if somebody comes in for decent money, so the club still win. They agree on that release clause, etc., etc., etc. It stops them, dragging their contract down and then just leaving on a free. So it just protects both the club and the player. He's made some comments on Leeds, on Radio Leeds, saying that he loves the interaction with the fans, but he would say that it's been love and hate at the same time at Ellen Road, because obviously when he was trying to edge his way out, he got a lot of stick. But I don't think he got too much stick. I just think he had to show a bit. Everybody sort of like... I mean, when Gnonto got here, everybody fell in love with him, didn't they, when he went flying? But he did say that, he says, but I know that they love me now, and he loves us. So he talks about how hard he works, and that the fans can see that, which, I agree. I think that's a massive thing for Leeds United fans, just to see people putting 110% in. All his statistics more or less have improved this season as well, but although it's still early days, because obviously the stats can be pretty misleading and a bit skewed early, because the size, the data size is a lot smaller, a lot more narrow. But like touches per game last year was 31.1, now it's 51.3. But I also think he's getting a lot more of the ball because we don't have Somerville anymore. You know, he's playing a lot more minutes. Successful dribbles per game has gone from 0.8 to 1.5, but again, that's probably going to get in and around 1, isn't it? You know, even in 5 or 6 weeks from now. Key passes per game, 0.6, 0.7. Fouls per game, 1.5 has gone up to 3, so he's obviously getting a bit more stuck in. Shots per game, last year was 1.3, it's gone up to 2.5. This is interesting. So big chances created was 5, and it's gone down to 2. So whether or not he's getting the chances or we've not really created as much, I would argue we've not really created as much as we did last year. It was probably setting up a lot of big chances last year when Somerville were about, and we did go on a bit of a pretty decent run, didn't we, where we were banging goals in. But I would imagine them stats will honestly even out as the season goes. And then some random news, which is slightly Leeds United related. Apparently Raphinha is they're actually talking that he were interested in moving to Arsenal, moving to Chelsea. Raphinha, he was open to a move, whether or not that's true. But apparently Tottenham are in for 85 million for him. They are sniffing around him. He's finally got going at Barcelona, to be fair. He had a bit of a sticky start, but he's got like player at month award last year and stuff. But I don't think he'll want to know. I don't think he'll want to leave me. I think he'll be loving it over in Barca, especially if he's one at main men. But I don't know what their situation is. Maybe they need 85 million. I don't really know. Here we go. I'm off for a shave, bro. Subscribe, like, comment. Appreciate every which one of you. Where you watching tomorrow? I'll be at Ellen Road with my man Bob up, getting slurped up. Lego. Boom. JackCity, bitch. JackCity.